I'm about to show you the difference between life-changing gains in the next 6 to 7 months in this bull market, because a lot of people are going to be like October, November, December, I'll just wait one more leg up, and then what's unfortunately going to happen is they're going to lose all their money. Because we are entering the hypey stage of the feel-good phase of this market where Bitcoin pushed back above 100K. People are starting to realize this and think about getting into crypto, or at least getting back in. Now the good news and the bad news for most people is the good is we have the euphoria greed phase to come in Q4 where we're going to make all the money. The bad news, hopefully not for us, is that people that invest in those times will unfortunately lose all their money. And that was one of the biggest lessons I made in the last bull run. So again, if you look at this right now, I do believe we're in the kind of media, euphoria, kind of public stage, but we do still have delusion, new parallelogram. Now this is probably going to be Q4 if we play this bull run like we did in 2021, but in 2021, unfortunately, I had to learn the harsh lessons I'm going to try and teach you in this video because I did everything right. Bought the good coins, solid prices, went in heavy, but unfortunately, I read this all the way back down. And yeah, whatever you are in your cycle, I'm going to try and best educate you, showing you a lot of failures I had to make in 2021 to really help you in journey. Like I said, in 2021, I had to demonstrate all the lessons that I'm going to try and teach you. And that's where I lost it all. I didn't buy at the peak times. I got stung by not having an exit plan. And unfortunately, a lot of people on this channel and in cryptocurrency will do that. So if my goal can be for some of you guys to at least make money and not hold for stupid prices on your coins, even though I made 950K on paper in gains in my portfolio, and for me, my biggest problem was greed. And that typically happens as a guy, right? We get so greedy on anything we want to do in life, whether that's going to the gym, just being competitive, which is good. But once you write up your portfolio to almost $1 million for me, like I've never seen that kind of money. And whatever you're at in your journey, even if it's just the first 10K, the first 5 figures, if we are in that Q4 2025, it's probably a good time. Now I'm going to give you some more lessons in this video about looking at some key strategies or some key signals that you need to look at for taking profits. Now for me, I had the audacity of the denial phase where I thought, oh, there was just one small dip and we'll come back. And we obviously know how that ended up. I read everything down, losing all my hard-earned money by round trip in the bag and losing 4 years of my time and having to start again. And that was the biggest kicker for me. The money, you can always make the money back if you're young enough. I agree with that, although it sucks. But 4 years to 21 to 25 where we are right now, it's a long time, okay? It's a long, long time because once we get in Q4 times of 2025, October to December, everything is going to feel so good. You are going to feel like you have made so much money on paper, and you should already be seeing that right now, unless you bought in, January 2025, where Trump kind of came in office and it was kind of a big whoopsie doopsie. But even if you bought in there, we're getting back to these prices, and especially if you start to DC all the way down in February, March, and April, you should be getting to close to profits, even if you bought the worst time. And once you are in profits, and you've never been in profits in cryptocurrency, you're going to be checking your portfolio every single day. And you honestly are, if you have enough money in the game, you're going to be making pretty much yearly salaries in months in cryptocurrency, especially in Q4. And it's scary and it's great, but a lot of people do not understand how to take profits. And I did not understand how to take profits in 2021. And hopefully I know how to take profits in 2025 because I do not want this to be 2 round trips and 8 years of my life wasting. Now, unfortunately, if you're not prepared, you're going to be losing it all, right? An exit plan is actually harder to do than the buys, in my opinion. It's very easy to buy once you've been in the game for a little bit. Once you start buying the dips, like, yeah, buy a dip, buy a dip, buy a dip. It becomes normal. If you're brand new, it can be a little bit scary. But once you've been in the game for probably 3 to 6 months, buying a dip's great. And because we all know where we're going, right? We all believe in this 4-year cycle, or you should do, or why else are you in cryptocurrency? But for many of us here, it's probably our first bull run. It might be our second bull run. It's miles harder because if we ride up something for a 10x, and this is what stung me a lot of my gains in the last bull run, I'll show you that in a second. You do a 10x, you maybe take 10K to 100K or 90K, whatever. And you're like, well, it's only a 3, 4, 5x, like 500K in one trade. I've already done a 10x. And that's where it can get scary. And that's most of the time where you lose it all. 2025 dream, it's going to come to an end for a lot of people. And today I'm going to lay out pretty much the exact strategy I'm using that I wish I had in 2021 to the secret patterns that scream cash out, which is very, very important. And the crypto indicators that will never lie, even when your emotions do. Now, real quick, before I get into this video, we still have the promotion on here on the BTC 10% buyback bonus, e.g. if you deposit 500 bucks, these guys will give you back 50 bucks, 10% pretty much whatever you deposit. So if it's $5,000, you'll get back 500 in that first 30 days. Again, we really like them for trades. I'm going to show some trades on this channel because now I think it's a good time to start trading, especially in this upward market. If you use leverage, it can be great, but recommended lower leverage. And again, 40% lower trading fees. So we used to use MEXC. A lot of our guys in the group used to use MEXC, but these guys are actually cheaper. And there's no liquidation scams that MEXC unfortunately have to do sometimes. And these guys have been around longer than MEXC, 14 plus years, 300 plus cryptocurrency coins on there. And there's also no KYC necessarily, which is good for some people. And no VPN unless you are from UK. So we have to use a VPN on this. You can use Nord, it's like $3 a month. I don't have an affiliate link for that, so just go and buy it. And you should have a VPN if you're in cryptocurrency anyways, especially if you've got money across different wallets, hot wallets, Uniswap, etc. You should have a VPN for $3 a month. If you're trying to exit the bull run with millions or 6 figures or even 5 figures, it's going to be a lifesaver. So you can check this out in the link in the description if you want that free cashback. And obviously it's a great place to buy and sell for really, really cheap. So before we know how to win at an exit plan, we need to first understand how to lose. And here's how you lose. So looking at back, if we go back to 2017 to 2021, and obviously 2025 is where we're expecting, it always seems easier. If you put this, long enough time frame on Bitcoin, for example, and you just zoom the F out on the weekly, seems pretty easy, right? Up, down, every 4 years. But when you're in the game, I guess you could say, and what typically happens is institutions, the news, articles are going to make you get greedy. And this happened to me, right? Especially on YouTube. A lot of price predictions in the last bull run was Bitcoin 100K, HBAR $1, $2. I'm guilty of that because I was basically just looking at what everybody else was doing. Ethereum, $10,000, Solana, 500, $1,000. What basically happens is YouTubers, news articles, institutions, they get you on this ride, okay, where they say, we're going to go up, we're going to keep going up. And again, you're seeing it right now. Bitcoin to $1 million 4 days ago, okay? Demand predicted to hit 130K in 2025. And again, I think this will happen, but it just gets people way too excited. You've got BTC ETFs clinging with 5 million net inflow. A lot of bullish news, right? And this is what they want, especially towards the end of this cycle, because they want you to hold on a little bit longer. So these institutions, greedy boys, they can drive you into the wall and you drive it all the way back down. So that's lesson number one. Now, and typically what happens after this is once you're here, it's too late, okay? Because your dopamine starts firing up, okay? The brain is firing and you feel invincible. Here's a meme, I guess you could say. My girlfriend telling me about her day, Michael Saylor telling me about Bitcoin. Whatever altcoins, meme coins, AI coins you're in, there's always something you flock to. If some YouTuber makes a video on it, and that's fine, it's good to share like personal experience and all that kind of stuff. But what I started to do in the last bull run is I was looking at price predictions and I was looking at my portfolio and I was like, if I can get this price, this price, this price, this price, sell 100%, and I'll be like 5, 10 million in the last bull run. Never fucking happened. And that's because my brain was so filled with dopamine. And basically what happens is for most people, you're sitting here with your little McDonald's hat and you were a crypto millionaire and you ride it all the way back down. So that's lesson number one. You need to be able to do the opposite of what people do and tell you in the media, because most of the time they're trying to steal from you, not give you any value. Now, the second thing, there's going to be many runs along the way. And this is going to be a reality eventually, this little image here. And again, I'm not for, nor against Bitcoin. Bitcoin started this game that we're in, but I do believe in this bull run, if you're trying to make a lot of money, the goal should not be Bitcoin if you have a small amount of money. The goal should be to make some money in altcoins, safe altcoins, maybe be a little bit riskier in my opinion. And then what you can do in the bear market is take those gains and start buying some Bitcoin, in my opinion. Because if you believe in a 4-year cycle, it's a much better strategy, because to buy 0.1 Bitcoin, you need $10,000. To buy 10, it's just like so unattainable for most people. And again, it's better to scale back out and rebuy back in lower. Again, a quote that I like is fiat has no bottom, thus Bitcoin has no top. And you really got to think and digest what I just said there. Fiat has no bottom because of inflation, and Bitcoin has no top, if you think about that. So basically, 2010, you have the guy with the Lamborghini, and you have the good job, stocks, whatever. I'm a millionaire, I'm a Bitcoiner. Nobody cares. House starts to lose value, I'm a millionaire, I'm a Bitcoiner. They have the same value. 2030, okay, this is good news, by the way, and again, not for or against Bitcoin. Bitcoin started this run that we're in. I think it's a great asset to hold, but for the small investors, would avoid this, buy it in the bear market of the next one. If you've missed the boat, 2030, the times have turned, and in 2040, you own a castle. So that's how much one Bitcoin is going to be worth. It's going to be worth millions and millions of dollars. And eventually, right? I'm not saying this bull run, not saying the next bull run, but eventually, Bitcoin has no top because fiat has no bottom, in my opinion. So how do you know when to get in the market has topped and when is it time to get back out and take the money to the bank? So first of all, we need to understand what is crypto dominance, very important. So crypto dominance is like a popularity score. It shows how much attention, e.g. money, is going into the Bitcoin in a bull market. And if you remember, at the time in our crypto journey, Bitcoin still does control the market. That's very important to understand. Bitcoin controls the market at the time of recording, and our altcoins are going to go high and lower depending on where Bitcoin moves in the market. I want you to imagine like you have a big jar of candy. This is the whole crypto market. If Bitcoin has half the candy, that means its dominance is 50%. The rest of the candy is shared by all other coins like Ethereum, Solana, and the millions of other coins. What happens in a bull market, and this is good for you, and what you need to understand, a bull market is when prices go up and people get excited. It's like a big party for crypto. And here's how dominance changes in a bull market. So first, Bitcoin gets popular again, its dominance goes up because most people feel safe buying it first. And next, when Bitcoin gets too expensive or maybe it slows down, again, it's still going up in price. But what people do is they flock to other coins like altcoins, okay? And that means Bitcoin's dominance goes down and altcoins start flying up. Now the kicker is, Bitcoin does not go down in price. It's just because the market caps on these altcoins start to catch up. And the 4-year cycle and how this comes in play is we obviously know that crypto moves in a 4-year pattern, right? It's like seasons. There's winter, the bear market, spring, summer, bull market, and the fall. And at the peak of the bull market, usually in the 4th year, that's where we're playing 2017, like 2021 and 2025, October to December, what often happens is Bitcoin goes up first and its dominance rises, then altcoins pump harder, Bitcoin's dominance drops, and altcoins go crazy, okay? So why is this important? Well, crypto dominance helps us see where we are in a bull run. Bitcoin dominance is rising, the bull run might be just starting. If Bitcoin dominance is falling fast, altcoins are booming at the top of the market, and it should be close. And the simple tip to remember here is Bitcoin leads, altcoin follows. When altcoins explode, be careful as the party might end soon. So again, a lot there to digest, but you can see right now as the market starts to move up, if you go back, give or take in the last month, you can see Bitcoin dominance was at 62%, and now we're at 58%. Now Bitcoin price has went up, and here's the kicker on how you want to take this to the bank. If we look, okay, at Bitcoin's dominance in previous cycles, you can look at 2017. We went to 35. This was the peak of the 2017 cycle. Bitcoin dominance to start to go up because we entered the bear market. Most shitcoins go to zero. That's why Bitcoin gets the dominance again. In the 2021 bull run, you can see since January 2021, and we basically had one whole year, and we got in again the 30%. That was the peak of the cycle, and then obviously what happened, most of those shitcoins went back. And here's the kicker. We're now, give or take, at about 60, 58%, give or take when you want to look at it on the daily or on the weekly. And if we play the game for 40%, and we should go lower, 35 to 39, but if we just play for 40%, this is when the peak of the market's going to be. Easier said than done. But if you can just have this, you will make a fuck ton of money. Now, the other thing you can do is you can install this 50-week MMA average. I've talked about this many times. Just go in indicators and just type in moving average. You can get rid of the 100, get rid of the 200. I just like the 50-week moving average. This is the yellow thing on screen right now, and I always put it on the weekly on Bitcoin. And if we go back enough, what we start to realize in 2017, if we were above the yellow line, we're in a bull market. And what pretty much happened is there's a lagging effect, but once we got in that bear cycle or bear market in 2018, the 50-week moving average went back up. And then that was the indication of the bear market. Now it lags a little bit since the peak, but you get the point. In the 2021 run, you can see that we crossed it, give or take, in July 2020, just after the C19 whoopsie doopsie. We had a beautiful 2021 run. And guess what happened? Time and time again, the 4-year cycle does not lie. The 50-week MMA went above it, bear market came in. And ever since, give or take, March 2023, we've came above it. So again, another thing you can do with Bitcoin dominance and some other stuff I'm going to tell you as well, if we're above this line, now we can wick it. We've wicked it many times, but as long as we don't close this, we're in a bull market. We were very close to closing it here when everybody was panicking in April. But what happened was we bounced off it and we went from 75K Bitcoin to 101K at the time of recording. So something you can use, and I would really urge you guys to install this on your TradingView. It's free to do. It doesn't cost you anything. The other thing you can do is look at crypto fear and greed, right? Very simple to do. If you just look in the last year, give or take, you can use this to try and time when's a good time to buy as long as we're in a bull market. For example, we bought Render, we bought Ethereum, and we bought Solana pretty much on April 7th, and it was pretty much the best time to buy. Most of those coins, like for example, Render is already 2x from those prices in pretty much a month, which is crazy, right? Once we start getting above the 90s to 100s, combined with the two things that we've just talked about, like the Bitcoin dominance, the 50-week MMA line, and once it starts to get above a 95, it's probably a good time to take profits. The next thing you can do that nobody wants to talk about is you can look at Alex Becker. Now, Alex Becker is a great YouTuber, I guess you could say. Some videos are a little bit crazy. He's funny, I get why people watch him. But combined with what we just learned, if you look at the last bull cycle in 2021, you can see his YouTube views were pretty much above 1 million, 800K at the peak of the cycle. There's one at 1.6, which is pretty much the peak. Right now, he's pulling about 200K. I do believe there's going to be more people watching cryptocurrency videos this bull market because that's typically what happens. As 2017, more people came in, 2021, more people came in, 2025, more people came in, and obviously 2013, I guess you could say was the first bull run, a little bit of people came in. So I would expect this guy to start pulling 2 million views, 2.5 million views. Once this guy starts pulling 1 million views per video, is probably going to be getting close to taking profits at least 20 to 40%. So right now he's at 200K, and yeah, it's a long way off of 1.6, but I promise you, people flock very fast. And again, you have to understand, if everybody's in, who are you going to sell to? And that's the unfortunate reality. So again, to sum this video up, before I give you one last piece of advice, 50-week MMA line, 4-year cycle, October to December. Alex Becker or whoever YouTubers you like to view, go back and look at his even look at mine, 2021, and just look at people's YouTube views in a peak bull market compared to where they are right now. If we get close to those or above those, like we should get, it's probably going to be time to sell. And again, I would just look at Alex Becker's because it's such an easy channel to look at views, etc., and we can compare. And yeah, going forward, CMC, Fear and Greed Index is another thing you could look at. Basically combining all these things, you're probably going to be getting out at the right time. I'll give you one last thing, okay? And this kind of hurts me to say this because this is where like people that make just honest wages will lose all their money. And this is what a lot of my friends, and I guess you could say me a little bit, I was running my own business, but this is how most people lose all their money. Peak FOMO. Once we get people, gym bros, wearing shirts like this, I told you so XRP, it's probably getting close. Now again, combine that with what we've just learned with other indicators to use. Once we see this, is probably a good time to start taking profits. Once we see the mum and dads that were never interested in cryptocurrency start talking about it. Now, if they were interested in cryptocurrency, it's a little bit different situation. But once you see, and if your mum and dad start talking about cryptocurrency and they've been dead against it, it's probably a good time to sell. Maybe your grandma starts getting out trading with you and starting to trade some altcoins. A little bit of a joke here, but you get the point. And then also the biggest one, or the biggest two ones, is your hairdressers. We always joke about this, but I just remember in 2021, people or hairdressers were talking about more cryptocurrency than 2020, okay? So if you're getting regular haircuts, maybe you should start just going to get haircuts, so just get your beard cut. Just do this, and if your guy or people are talking about cryptocurrency, just get out in the world, go and see the world. And if people are talking about cryptocurrency, maybe you're at the airplane or you're at the you're just walking, you start to see advertisements. For example, this was London, I think in peak 2021. Crazy, right? It's about time to sell if you see this. And of course, your Uber drivers, etc., if they're starting to talk about their portfolio, it's probably a good time to sell. Now, there's many more things I could give you, but I think if you just take less and you can get a lot more, because you can look at charts, you can look at all these other crazy indicators and all this M2 money supply, and that's great. But I think these kind of 4 to 5 basic things will make you at least sell 80% out along the way, and you'll definitely make money than stomach what we had to do in 2021. So I really hope you enjoyed this. I would love to know your thoughts. And if you have any other indicators that you're looking at personally yourself, share in the comments. Let's start a little conversation. I can maybe make a video on them if I agree or disagree, but I think there's a lot of good stuff coming. We've probably got 6 to 7 months of printing, and yeah, look for these peak indicators. And once you start ticking 2 to 3 off of them, it's probably a good time to start shaving profits. So that's all I got. Peace and take care, and share your best indicators in the comments below, and we can start a little discussion. Peace.